Why did you pick this race of all races?
Because we need more hardcore conservative women who won't back down, who will get there to Washington, D.C. and do the right thing to put the country on the right track. I've got faith in Joni.
I've got faith in Joni. That was former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin in an exclusive interview with Morning Joe. Joining us now from Chicago, NBC News political reporter Casey Hunt, who interviewed Palin and has the latest edition of our States of Play series on the midterms. How'd this trip go, Casey?
Hey, Mika, the trip went well. Sarah Palin does have a lot of faith in Joni, and she was throwing her weight around again in that first in the nation primary state, caucus state. And this time she's backing Senate candidate Joni Ernst in a close race with dynamic candidates, and they're doing whatever they can to stand out.
Watch out, Washington. Joni Ernst. She's a mama grizzly, ready to take a stand against the Russian bear.
Sarah Palin is back in Iowa.
Heels on the ground, gloves are off. That's what we need. Time is short.
It's not a presidential race, but the stakes are still high. Winning this seat could help Republicans take back the Senate.
Well, I would just give anything to be there when Joni runs into someone like Harry Reid for the first time in the Senate dining room.
Palin endorsed Republican Senate candidate Joni Ernst after she promised to make Washington squeal.
I'm Joni Ernst. I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm. So when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork.
What does castrating hogs involve?
A very delicate hand. Let's put it like that.
Ernst is just one candidate in a crowded Republican primary. And she's struggled to raise money, but she's assembled a broad coalition. Mitt Romney also endorsed her, and so did the Senate Conservatives Fund.
So it's not just one or the other. I'm showing a wide variety of different types of conservatives that are stepping up and saying this is the right candidate at the right time.
Critics say she's too conservative to win a general election. She backed a personhood amendment and thinks Congressman Paul Ryan's budget doesn't go far enough.
I think we're headed in the right direction. We need to pay down any debt that we have. We need to do it faster.
She's neck and neck in the primary with millionaire business executive Mark Jacobs. He says he's focused on creating jobs.
I know what it's like to inherit a fiscal mess. I'd be prepared to put my track record of success and accomplishment up against anybody.
Jacobs moved back to his home state of Iowa 2 years ago. He got rich as CEO of Reliant Energy, a power company based in Houston. Some candidates who are very personally wealthy have sacrificed their government salaries. Is that something you would be willing to do as a U.S. Senator?
Well, I don't think U.S. senators make that much money, but again, I'm willing to make significant investment of my time and energy here to help solve the problems we have in this country.
U.S. senators make $174,000 a year. Fewer than 10% of Iowans make that much. And Jacobs has already spent $1.6 million on his campaign, more than any other candidate in the state's history.
Well, I'm committed to running the type of campaign it's going to take not only to be successful in the primary here, but again against Congressman Braley.
Democratic Congressman Bruce Braley grew up in the farm town of Brooklyn, Iowa.
This is the high school I went to, and this is a football field.
This is the field where you played.
Where I played. I think I'm the right choice because I've spent an entire life living, working, getting an education in Iowa.
Braley was considered the odds-on favorite to win here. But then he was caught on video insulting Iowa farmers and popular Senator Chuck Grassley.
You might have a farmer from Iowa who never went to law school, never practiced law, serving as the next chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
What did you learn from that episode?
Well, I learned what I've known for a long time, and that is people say things they regret, and the important thing is to accept responsibility for it, which I did.
And do you think that somebody who doesn't have a law degree is qualified to lead the Judiciary Committee?
Yes, I do. Senator Grassley, through his long work and hard work, has earned the right, but it's no different than asking a group of farmers whether they think a lawyer would be more qualified to chair the Senate Agriculture Committee. It was not intended in any way to be disparaging to Senator Grassley or to farmers.
Iowa's considered a swing state, but President Obama carried it twice, and polls show Braley is still the favorite to win. He defends the health care law, and unlike many other Democrats running for Senate, he says he'd be happy to host President Obama.
Well, the president is very busy, and if he has time in his schedule and thinks that it's important to come to Iowa, I would be happy to welcome him. He's the president of the United States.
So Iowa's system means that it's still possible that no Republican will get 35% of the vote, which is what it takes to win the primary outright. And that would send the decision to an unpredictable convention.
Oh, my
Mika?
goodness. So many pigs to castrate.
I have a question.
So little time.
Under the Thrive double standard,
Yeah,
what would
Thrive.
happen to a male politician if he was running on spading
We've got one.
animals?
We've got a male politician in that race who has an obsession with genitalia as well, and we'll get to that in just a moment. How's that for a tease? Joining us now on set, political analyst and contributor to Forbes.com, Carrie Sheffield.
Hi.
Okay, let's move back into Casey's report. Sarah Palin coming to town to campaign for Joni Ernst. And, of course, I don't think I'm in the demo, because I watched that and I'm like, how does that help her? Does it help her?
Oh, it does help her. I mean,
How?
she has undeniable draw within the Republican base and also within Iowa. I mean, from the Heritage Foundation, Jim DeMint pointed out that Sarah Palin is the most popular. Her endorsement brings the most weight. And within Iowa, Breitbart.com reported that she's the most popular candidate.
So is that it because it's a beginning part of a race, a primary, whatever? Because I think, didn't we learn, Nicole, that being able to generate a crowd doesn't necessarily mean you'll win?
Well, I mean, I think it comes a lot to dollars, and so her opponent, her primary opponent, has outspent her 10-1, but it's largely coming from his own pocket, as Casey mentioned. So I think Sarah Palin is going to help her with the grassroots sort of small donors, but she also mentioned Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney is very establishment. So when you're talking about within the party, you have such diverse sort of intra-party appeal. That's going to help her with the big donors, the Mitt Romney side of it.
Carrie, do you think that Sarah Palin and Joni Ernst can rewrite the script for Republicans, not just for Republican women, but Republican men, and really kind of
and the whole war on women thing?
Bat the war on women. How do you think they can help undo that?
Okay, first, I think this war on women is fake. So I think it's about as real as Manti Te'o's girlfriend. It's not real. So it's basically like, this magician, they just did a documentary about him, The Amazing Randy. So it's like The Amazing Randy dangling a shiny object over here, and the real object is Obamacare. And I think women are smarter than this. They're going to look through this and they're going to see, you know what? Conservatives actually want real choice. They want choice of who is their doctor. They want choice of which school do they send their kids to. They want choice, economic choice. So I think women are smarter than to fall for this.
Well, there have been some. Okay, hold on. Sam Stein, he wants to jump in. Go ahead.
Well, I
Sam.
have a question for Casey if she's still there.
Go for it.
Did Mark Jacobs really tell you, I don't think U.S. senators make that much money? And is he not is he a politician? Do you know you shouldn't say things like that? What is that about?
I think I was a little surprised to hear him say that. I will say his campaign was very quick to issue a clarification to us on this point. His campaign advisor said that he's, quote, never really looked into how much U.S. senators make. The point he was trying to make is that no matter what U.S. senators make, he's not doing it for the money. He wants to be able to reflect back on his life and know that he's done something for his country and for his family. And this is that part of his life, and he wants to contribute to public service. So clearly they wanted to take some steps to clarify what he said to us in the interview.
Okay, you thought
made it better.
Exactly. You thought Joni Ernst was interesting when she'd had her ad about castrating pigs and said, let's make them squeal. Take a look, because another candidate in the race is independent candidate Bob Quast, who put out this viral ad to combat what he calls the real war on women.
If you are the sexual predator and sociopath who murdered my sister Lynette, and you come to my front door to do harm to my girls, I'm going to use my Glock to blow your balls off. I needed some attention, and I wanted to actually talk about a serious issue of domestic violence, awareness, prevention, and funding in my Lynette's Law that I've been trying to get people to pay attention for 3 years, including my Congressman Bruce Braley. I would keep crazy people who do really bad things in prison instead, and it won't affect my case, but it would help other people, because this is not, my story is not unique. It happens a lot, and we let people out far too soon that then do damaging things to society.
Carrie Sheffield, your gut, what's more effective, castrating pigs or blowing balls off?
Castrating. Anytime somebody says castrating, ears will perk
Nicole,
up.
Okay.
Did the genitalia strategy ever come up in the Bush
Carrie
campaign?
Sheffield, we are so glad you chimed in on that. Casey Hunt, great job. Thank you as well. Still ahead.